Welcome to our Esports 101 webinar for March here. Thank you to everyone for joining us. My name's Greg. We have a short presentation here that'll go over kind of a lot of the basics about esports and gaming, as well as touch a little bit about on some of our esports leagues and our platform here at GGLeagues as well. But just to introduce myself, like I mentioned, my name's Greg. I'm a partner success manager for GGLeagues. Excuse me. I grew up in Santa Monica, California, and graduated from the University of Michigan in 2016 studying science. Before working with GGLeagues, I had a lot of experience as an educator, as well as coaching esports in high school settings as well. I currently live in Chicago, and in my spare time outside of gaming, I really enjoy skateboarding, reading, and going camping as well. Cool. So just to get started, some of the big questions we get are just like what esports are in general. Esports are defined as an organized multiplayer video game competition. Typically, these are team-based games, but can also be individual games as well. And they're usually watched by an audience, similar to traditional sports. There are a wide variety of different esports out there. All esports are video games, but not necessarily all video games are esports. So, for example, some games like The Sims or like Animal Crossing, for example, might not have as many competitive elements to it as some other genres of games. Some really popular esports titles that are out there. A lot of the sports games like FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K, games like that are very popular, as well as first person shooters. These games listed here are some of the most popular ones, with like League of Legends and Fortnite being some of the most popular ones right now, I would say, as well as Valorant and many others on here. There are many different genres for games and esports. Some of the big ones, though, like some of those games that were listed on that previous slide, are first person shooters. These can be third person shooters also, but games like, excuse me, Overwatch, Call of Duty, Counter Strike, Valorant, Splatoon, as well as Battle Royale games, if you've ever heard of those. Strategy games, these can be very similar to like chess in a lot of ways. These are typically much slower paced games, but examples can be like Hearthstone, Teamfight Tactics, which are sort of like card games, as well as games like Age of Empires, StarCraft, or Civilization. Sports games, like I mentioned, as well as MOBA games, which is what League of Legends would fall into, as well as fighting games like Super Smash Bros. Uh, One of the big things we'll be talking about is how much esports is growing. Some of the reasons recreational esports are growing, especially so in the Parks and Rec scene as well. 70% of kids stop playing sports at the age of 13 and attending traditional rec programming, whereas gaming engages 90% of kids that are in that kind of age range, 12 to 17. And this is according to some research from last year. And according to this research, also, there are a lot of people in the country who agree that gaming can be educational, and families that agree that gaming can be a good way to socialize and engage with their children. The gaming industry itself is growing quite a bit. There are 2.7 billion gamers worldwide, with 210 million of those in North America. So just a very small percentage of the total player base. This player base is projected to continue to grow throughout the next years. And especially if you take a look at like the middle school, high school, and esports scene that are, collegiate esports scenes that are growing. It's continuing to be kind of a more integrated part of like scholastic experiences as well as recreational experiences. These numbers here show a little bit of some of that projected growth. We're in the process of updating some of these numbers since there's some recent research that has come out regarding like stream growth and people viewing esports. But this graph here shows that in 2022, the numbers of viewers, this light blue number being people who are really into esports and esports enthusiasts, excuse me, and this dark blue section here being more occasional viewers, is expected to grow over 500 million, 600 million here, viewers this year. Globally, over 27, or sorry, excuse me, globally, 27.9 billion hours were watched across Twitch and other streaming platforms. And like I mentioned, this number continues to grow, and viewers are slowly kind of preferring to watch esports over traditional sports. It's with, as you can see in this graph, that number is starting to surpass some of the smaller sports like MLS, NHL, for example. This here shows some of the biggest esports teams that are out there. So professional esports teams, similar to MLB, NBA. They're really big franchises that form around some of these esports teams. One of the cool thing about professional gaming is that a lot of these teams that are listed here, like Team Liquid over here on the left, will have teams for different games. So it's not just one game that they have a team for. They'll have professional esports players for a very wide variety of different games. So whereas the Los Angeles Dodgers might be limited to only baseball players, some of these big esports franchises can really grow to be big organizations with many different teams. This image here shows a recent in-person League of Legends event. This was an in-person esports championship. And so this picture, I think, does a really good job of just showing how much interest there is in actually viewing these events. Some people might say you're just watching, a screen and people playing games, but going to one of these events in person can be just as, awesome and have just as many people in the stadium as some more traditional sporting events. Just to give people some insight into a few of the professional leagues that are out there for esports, Rocket League, which is a really popular one, has the Rocket League Championship Series. One of the really cool things about the RLCS is there's some really young players that compete professionally. So some players as young as 15 years old that are able to compete in the RLCS. This table here also shows how some of the prize pools for these esport tournaments are really starting to grow. The Fortnite World Cup, for example, had a prize pool of $3 million, which, when compared to some other sports like tennis, for example, with the Wimbledon prize, or other smaller sports like racing and things like that, it really is starting to become much bigger in a lot of ways. And then just talking about some of the pathways of gaming, there are tons of different tons of benefits to gaming and why esports is growing so quickly. It's inclusive, it's year round, it's a very social activity, and especially during the pandemic, it's been a great way for people to stay connected with each other. It's a platform in many different ways. So outside of just gaming itself, there are many different communities kind of associated with different social media and things like that. And on top of all that, it's very fun as well. But some of the other reasons it's become so popular have been just from streaming in general. Twitch being purchased by Amazon in 2014, and some of the growth on that platform, as well as a lot of people aspiring for careers or for fame and things like that within the esports industry. With some big streamers like Ninja making over $500,000 monthly. And then jumping back to that Fortnite World Cup, a player as young as 16 years old winning a $3 million prize pool for competing in that game. Traditionally, sports programming conditioned players mentally and physically by, teaching them how to handle those stressful situations. Competitive video gaming provides a lot of those same benefits, especially with team-based video games. It can really help people learn social emotional skills and how to be a good teammate, things like that as well. Especially nowadays, esports is continuing to be a real pathway into college as well. More and more colleges are starting to create university esports programs, as well as esports based majors and minors. And many of these schools are even offering scholarships for players to compete on their collegiate esports teams. In the high school and middle school scene as well. Excuse me. Uh, one moment. Uh, there are many different high school leagues and middle school esports programs, I should say, that are continuing to grow. And it's really starting to become something that's utilized by teachers and by schools as a way to keep kids engaged. There are a lot of pathways into different areas as well through esports, media production, computer science, business and brand management as well. Some of the esports benefits that come from kind of organized esports leagues. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of families and people that see gaming as educational and something that can be a great way to connect. 75% of people, excuse me, Americans also see video games as a way to improve creative skills. And especially with games like Minecraft, other things like that, at a young age, they can really help teach kids things as well. Um, Going back to how social gaming can be, who gamers are playing with based on some ESA research from last year. A lot of people are playing with family members, their spouse or their partner, friends, parents, although that's a much smaller number compared to other ones there, as well as like team, guild mates or clan mates, or kind of like online only friends that they've met potentially through gaming. There are tons of different skills that you can develop through gaming. Like we mentioned, some problem solving skills, as well as health and mindfulness. Excuse me. Uh, Kind of social, emotional skills, and self confidence. But we've spent a lot of time talking about like the positives of gaming. But there are definitely some negative aspects of gaming, things to be aware of when you're spending a lot of time or really enjoy gaming, like screen time management, your game choice itself. Um, a lot of parents in our community are often concerned about these things, like gaming addiction or screen time management, as well as graphic violence or things like that in the games their kids are playing. We have a great study linked here on gaming and addiction, as well. In just a moment, we'll go over some of our educational partners that can provide a lot more education and insight on some of those topics. So this year, big focus of ours, part of the reason we're running a lot of these webinars more often than we have in the past, is that we really want to help parents and families, understand and gain access to some of the great resources and organizations that are out there in the world of esports and gaming. So this year, we're working with a ton of different educational partners, and we'll continue to create educational content on different themes throughout the year. This month, for example, we're partnered with the Game Hers, and we're focusing on women in esports and gaming to highlight Women's History Month for the month of March. Just to give some background on the Game Hers is a women led community dedicated to amplifying and centering the voices of women gamers and gamers of marginalized genders who are comfortable in spaces that center women. They do a really great job of creating, a great community and a great space for female identifying gamers. And their mission is to advance the role, voice, image, and power of all of the gamers in the gaming world. We're really excited to be working with the gamers, similar to the previous months, like with our webinar with Healthy Gamer and with Cope. At the end of this month, on March 30th at 6 p.m. Central Time, we will be hosting another live stream similar to this, featuring some members of the Game Hers as well. If you would like, excuse me, to get more info on some of the educational content we'll be working on this month, as well as for that webinar, feel free to scan that QR code that's listed there. But you can also head to our parents page for more info. On top of the game hers, back in January and continuing throughout the year, we will be working with Healthy Gamer as well. Healthy Gamer is a mental health platform that's designed to really help people succeed when it comes to understanding their mental health and allowing people to take control of their mental health. Healthy Gamer was co-founded by Dr. Alok Kanodia, or Dr. K, as he's known, who's a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, excuse me, and one of the world experts when it comes to video game psychiatry. Healthy Gamer has some really great resources on things like screen time management, gaming, and addiction. And we are able to offer some of the services that Healthy Gamer provides, such as their action plan here, um, that is designed to be kind of like a DIY step-by-step program to understand mental health and help people take control of how gaming might affect their mental health. So if you're interested in this action plan, maybe just write down this code. It's down here at the bottom. We do have more info on our blog as well for some of those Healthy Gamer posts in January. Um, but if you're interested in getting 20% off for the action plan, you can use that code GGLeaguesParent right down there at the bottom. They do offer group and individual coaching as well. So if you're interested in, group coaching or personal coaching with a Healthy Gamer, mental health coach, you can use that code down there at the bottom for 20% off as well. GG Leagues partner. I have some additional resources for Healthy Gamer linked here. Like I mentioned, a lot of this can be found on our blog page as well, if you're interested in learning more. I highly recommend their YouTube channel, has some really cool videos about some of the topics that I mentioned as well. And then one of our other educational partners that we worked with last month and will be continuing to work with throughout the year is the Coalition of Parents in Esports. COPE is an organization that is founded by the parents of professional gamers and content creators. Their mission focuses on revolutionizing esports by getting parents involved and educating parents on some of the benefits and career pathways that are associated with esports. We've been really excited to work with COPE. We've been doing some awesome Fortnite tournaments with COPE that have been happening every Saturday. Um, these are parent-teen duos tournaments that we have been running. These consist of teams of parents and their teenage children. We've been running these on Saturdays throughout this year. We'll continue to run those up until around the middle of the month. If you're interested in learning more about those, you can find info at that link listed there below. But we have been streaming these. Cope has been helping us to stream these on their Twitch account. Also, a content creator from Cope, Duster, has been helping run those and kind of cast those and does a really great job hosting those tournaments. So if you're interested, tune in. Those happen on 3 p.m. or excuse me, at 3 p.m. on Saturdays, 3 p.m. Central Time. If you're interested in learning more about Cope, a lot of this info can also be found on our blog page. But if you want to check out some of these links to learn more about Cope, here they are as well. Awesome. So just to go over some details about our educational initiative this year as well. Similar to this webinar, each month we will be hosting a 101 at the beginning of the month, just like this one, as well as at the end of the month, we'll have that specialized webinar with our educational partners and some other people we'll be featuring throughout the year. If you're interested in signing up to make sure you get updates for all of these upcoming events, just head over to our parents page here, ggleagues.com/parents, and you can sign up to receive updates so you don't miss out on anything. But we do have some awesome themes planned for the rest of the year. Next month, for example, will be careers in gaming and esports. May will be diversity inclusion, and a lot of other great themes planned for the rest of the year. Link to some of our past panels that we have run. In January, we ran our panel with Healthy Gamer featuring Hannah Dam, who's their resources manager. And we talked about some of the value of mental health in gaming, answered a lot of questions from parents in our community, and shared some of the resources and coaching programs that Healthy Gamer offers. We have some of the links to the video from that panel listed here. One thing I'm just realizing is our most recent panel with the Coalition of Parents in Esports might not be on this slideshow right now, which I apologize for. But if you're watching us on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, you will be able to see the replay for that stream as well. But similar to this, we ran a panel with Cope that was really awesome just a couple weeks ago. And we focused on parenting and gaming and had some really great insight from some of the parents and gamers at Cope. So moving on to GG Leagues and a little bit about our platform here. GG Leagues can be a great way to add kind of a structured I would say like element into your child's gaming habits or gaming interest. The average gamer is playing games for a lot of time each week, and it does provide a very social experience. But competing in a league can also give people goals to work towards, and provide kind of a more structured experience at times as well. And our platform does a really great job of providing a structured and kind of social environment for players in our leagues that's safe for all ages as well. So just to touch base a little bit about if you're interested in signing up for one of our leagues for the spring season or a future season, some things you may need to have is the game you want to compete in, as well as a system to play that game on. Any online subscriptions that you may need for that game. So, for example, for like Super Smash Bros., you may need Nintendo Switch Online, as well as a stable internet connection. And here's a picture of some of our recent winners from one of the parent-child duos tournaments or parent-teen duos tournaments. Um, with our league structure, we empower community agencies, so like park and rec departments and all sorts of other partnered organizations to launch their own esports programs. We work with over 370 rec agencies across the country. And GG Leagues provides moderated game chats, refs, and league admins, live support, as well as age divisions for our leagues, and some other features like private Fortnite lobbies, as well as our platform just being very easy to use and compliant with the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act. So we have customized club pages for each community. You'll be able to search for a community near you that is partnered with us and offering esports leagues. And from there, you can join your club. And it's free to join your club. That just allows you to get updates, emails about upcoming leagues and registration deadlines and things like that. But during your games, if you sign up, we do have some like private match pages, queue system that allows for less forfeits during our leagues as well, and moderated match chats that are constantly moderated by our refs and admins. So if any issues pop up, players can always reach out to someone in here. Just to go over how our season pass structure works a little bit for each season. Purchasing a season pass for the spring season, for example, or the summer or fall coming up this year, unlocks all of the games that we offer. So for the spring season, for example, purchasing a pass will unlock all of these games if you're interested in joining for $40. We also run some one-off tournaments throughout the season and other educational events kind of similar to these webinars that players will have access to. The games that we're offering for this upcoming spring season will be Rocket League, both 1v1 and 3v3, Super Smash Bros., Madden 22 on Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5, Fortnite, solos and duos, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We do have some great prizes for our leagues as well. Anyone who wins will receive a gift card as well as a GG Leagues Championship t-shirt and medal that's sent to them. For these games, we break them up into different days of the week. So Madden and Mario Kart run on Mondays. Tuesday are Fortnite Solos Leagues. Wednesday, Rocket League. Thursday, Super Smash Bros. And Friday, Fortnite Duos. And then the start times for these games varies by age division. Our youth games always start at 7 p.m., teens at 8 p.m., and adults at 9 p.m. And these times are in local time since our leagues are typically grouped up by state. One thing to mention, though, for Fortnite, due to some recent changes to their license agreement and the teen rating of the game, we are not offering a youth division for Fortnite, so only teen and adult available for Fortnite. Some important dates for the upcoming spring season. The registration deadline will be right around the middle of April, so April 13th, right around midnight Central Time. The leagues themselves will launch April 18th and last 8 weeks total, finishing up in early June. Last year, we did also have a national esports series tournament at the end of the year. We are planning to continue with this for 2022, although details for this have not been finalized. But last year, we did have some really great prizes for the National Esports Series, and some winners from previous seasons throughout the year were invited to this to compete. Cool. But that was everything I had to go over for our Esports 101 tonight. Let me know if anyone has any questions. Feel free to drop those in the chat. I'll stick around for just a minute here. But if not, I hope everyone has a great evening. And feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and hope you enjoyed the presentation. Take care, everyone.